Alright, everybody, today we're going to be talking about how to play the veteran sharpshooter in Darktide. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, for the build, I run Power Sword as melee, and that's basically a must because all the other melee options for veteran are pretty limiting. The chain swords, while good against single target enemies and specials, the amount of time that it takes for the animation to play is gonna screw you, especially when you're in the middle of a horde. So I suggest using a power sword instead for its infinite cleave and that ability to get you out of hordes without catching on some enemy. For ranged, I prefer the bolt gun. It's probably the best thing about this game. The roar of the bolt gun when you fire it, especially full auto, is very satisfying. Last guns are more fluff friendly if you want to kind of role play a little bit when you're playing Darktide, especially as a veteran sharpshooter because they uh, they are the Imperial Guard. They're the backbone of the Imperium, the Emperor's hammer, if you will. Um, they are kind of like flashlights in this game, especially if you hit body shots. It's going to take a lot to bring something down. And the auto guns, if you get one that's high damage, the rate of fire makes up for the lackluster damage. So if you get a high base damage, it's pretty usable. For feats, I take all the ones that help you with toughness under fire are pretty good. There's a couple other ones that are helpful. The only one of note that really comes to mind is sniper, because you're going to be looking into the distance, scanning for specials with volley fire. So you want to take those out from as far away as possible so you can hit them and they can't hit you. For melee, just try and stick as a team and soften up any hordes with your ranged weapons before your teammates rush in. This means like taking care of any special units so that way your melee attacks are only used against one hit pox walkers and stuff like that. The main problem with the Veterans Melee is that he has technically a lot of options, but the Power Sword is basically the only one that you should use. I tried using chain weapons for a little bit, but they're just not effective at clearing crowds, especially when the Power Sword does that so much better. And for single target damage, if you're rushing in there with a chain sword, yeah, it might be viable on a zealot where you're getting toughness back and you can prioritize single target damage because you have the flamer or something, but for the veteran, it's kind of lackluster. I wouldn't recommend using the chain weapons. They look cool, they sound cool, they tear into enemies very satisfyingly, but they're not very viable gameplay wise. All right, now the bread and butter of the veteran class. I'm going to be talking about ranged combat. My weapon of choice is the bolt gun, but before you unlock that, the revolver is a really great early game option and it kind of gets you used to firing semi-auto, long distances, searching for headshots, that kind of thing. Las guns are viable, especially if you hit headshots and you're really good with that. I'm not that great at first-person shooters, so I have trouble with that sometimes. So a giant exploding bolt is preferable to me than a ray of light from a flashlight. Prioritize weak points like heads or glowing green spots in the case of the Beast of Nurgle, and try, if possible, to use the semi-automatic fire option when using a bolt gun, uh, just so you conserve ammo because it does have a very limited ammo capacity. Unless, of course, you're caught in a corner and or you're taking down shields, in which case, go ahead and hit fire, spray and pray until it's dead. Alright, some notes about the veteran. Try to avoid melee combat where possible. Your power sword is strong, but cover your teammates with bullets rather than muscle. Auto-firing weapons like the bolt gun, auto gun, or recon las gun are great for dealing with hordes and shields. For voice packs, the Cadian one is probably my favorite. I made my Ogren from Cadia, so it got the purple eyes. So I didn't put my veteran as from Cadia because I didn't want two of them from the same place. Kind of want them all to be from different planets, but that's just an aside. Also, if you play this class, there are going to be a lot of other people running veteran, so just be prepared for that. Especially if you want to be a unique character, I would suggest running another class. Alright, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. We got a little Kriegsman gif here. Have fun playing Darktide, and I hope that this helps you beat Heresy and Damnation. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, for the Emperor.